Hey, it's Bruce Hill. I make sales simple. Write a course with me. I was working on a course on creating compelling communication so you all can have two outcomes. One, how to simply create effective trainings. And two, you learn how to create communication that moves people to action. All right? Two for one special. Let's go. So first of all is organization. And I didn't know this when I started. I don't know how long I've been designing courses. Apparently, there's a field called curriculum design. That's all they do. Is how do we get the information, the knowledge, and experience from our heads into our team members' heads? So check this out. Step one, what is the title or purpose of the training? Right? How to create compelling communication. Step two, break it into steps. One of the biggest things I see people fail to effectively transfer their knowledge and experience is they make it too complicated. That's why I open every video with what? I make sales simple. So to break down the steps, what's the smallest increment of action they can take that moves them forward? So for me, that's where we start. We're going to do a quick summary of the whole training. We'll break down the pieces, put it all together. And you know what? Let's do one more. Uh, Maybe it's thinking about it. One thing I do, and some people like it, some people don't, is all of these are live and generally recorded once without edits. That can be good sometimes. Sometimes like this, it can be a little challenging. What's going on here? Let's try this. New document. Thank you. Let's say number 7, conclusion and takeaway. That's a little small. Don't worry. I'll increase the font. There, boom. All right. So it's got 7 parts. Now here's what's interesting. I would rather have 7 parts that are 3 or 4 minutes each than one part that's 30 minutes. All right. This is how we have trainings that impact our team. This is how we have trainings that have a lasting change on their behavior. And this is how we keep sales simple. We make it so easy to do. There's no sense not to do it. All right. So, number one, how to create compelling communication. And where a lot of people mess up in any training and any conversation is they talk about what's in it for them. So, the question we're going to ask, I really don't want that font that big. Let's do something divisible by 8. Let's see, 6, 18, there we go, 24. How do we speak so that other people listen? How do we move people to take action? That's literally the definition of compelling, right? Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but this is the premise, this is the question. That's the premise of the training. So as you're watching this video, you're going to learn again. If you follow the steps in meetings, you have a great idea, you share it, and they're like, oh, um, we'll think about it, or oh, thank you for sharing, but we're gonna go another direction. That gets old. Now, sometimes it's just a toxic work environment. I can't help you with that. What I can help you with is, hey, let's get those good ideas at least evaluated. At least like, okay, let's give it a try. All right, that's it. Short and sweet. I think a lot. Actually, nope. I gotta have stuff again. So that's number one. Number two, start with the transformation. Let me do this. Let's say, is it 24? Yeah, that's better. Here's where the first and easiest thing you can change when how you speak or write. Where do they end up as a result of taking action? Okay. In the book, I think it's 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, he talks about start with the end in mind. A lot of times we start with what to do, how to do it, but really, Simon Sinek wrote a great book on this. We need to talk about why we do it. Why are we taking this action? however long it takes, however many steps it is, where is the goal? There we go. So now they know where we're headed, and if they all want to go there, they're going to listen to the next step, right? They say, hey, yeah, I do want this outcome. I do want this goal. What do I do next? And that's where we have people interested. That's where we have people engaged. That's where we have buy-in. And I think this is the very simplest thing you're missing from your communication is you talk about how, you might talk about all the steps, you might talk about your experience, right? But those are the past. We got to start with the future, paint a picture. And then these are first steps to do it. If we communicate with confidence, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. If we're clear in our communication, if we're concise in our communication, and we'll talk about the difference between being concise and being brief or short, then it becomes compelling. There's no magic set of words to be compelling to everyone every time. But if I can help you be more compelling to more people more of the time, hey, that's a win. That was worth however minutes this is going to take. And it will be less than 30 because I keep it simple. So that's the summary. These are the three pieces that we need in order for it to be compelling. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be a 2 hour long process. You don't need a PhD. You don't, maybe ChatGPT can help. I don't know. But I want it to be so simple that you can use this every day in meetings with your kids, with your partner, your spouse. Maybe you're trying to get a discount at your favorite restaurant or store. I don't care. I want you to be able to have more effective communication. Maybe you're just trying to close some deals, right? Trying to grow your business. Effective communication is going to help you do that. All right, let's do speaking with confidence. This is step one. Are you sure? If you don't believe you, they won't believe you. It's that simple. So I like to use confidence statements like I know, this will, I can. No room for maybes, possibilities, probabilities, right? Avoid those words like, oh, this might work, this will probably work, or I've never tried this before, but no, hey, listen, I know if we do this, this will happen, and I can show you how. That's that simple. So simple, this probably isn't Merriam-Webster. Confidence is being sure. If you don't believe in your idea, it's going to be very, very tough to get other people to believe in your idea. And it's just that simple. All right. Let's keep it rolling. How long was that? 60 seconds? I told you we keep it simple. We're not here to make things more complicated. We're here to make them simple. Not and now simple isn't always easy, but that's another training for another day. All right, I wish I could default this font. That'd be nice. Be concise. All right. How can you say the most with the fewest amount of words? So here's something important. Concise does not mean short. Okay. You don't get a prize for just saying the least words if it doesn't make sense. And which brings us to our next one, which is going to be clarity, right? You want to say the complete idea. Your challenge to yourself is just use the most efficient language. That doesn't mean big words or what's the word? Try and impress anyone. It just means, oh, here we go. Let's keep it simple. Get to the point. That's what concise means. I just use word concise because I like alliterations. If you watch my trainings, you'll see that pattern pretty often. All right, let's see, what else do I need? I need to open, I need one more. Let me do a new document. Really wish I could default this to a larger font. All right, 6 should be clarity. There we go. All right, it is more important to be clear than it is to be clever. There's so many times people have a little catchphrase or they have this little play on words, but no one knows what you're talking about. Most of the time, they can't understand you, they won't agree with you. There's exceptions to every rule. Maybe it's the CEO and they're saying some nonsense and everyone's just nodding their head because it's the CEO. Don't be that person. And you often don't have the luxury of using your title or power to convince people, even when they don't understand. You have to present a clear case of why this is important, which is where we go back with the transformation, right? That's why we start with the transformation. It has to be clear where we're going to end up. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble getting buy-in. So focus on making sense, help them to understand. That's your goal from clear communication. All right, so we got concise, we got clear, and then this will be, let's, I'm just change this number to number 7. This is where it becomes compelling. And what's fun about this, you really can't convince 100% of the people 100% of the time. But if you practice those, confidence, clarity, and conciseness, you will be more compelling more often to more people. I will never tell you everyone is always going to agree with you. I'd be lying to both of us. But what I want for you is that you have good ideas, you have the experience, you have the knowledge, and I want to make sure you get the chance to have your ideas heard. You're going to have to go out on a limb and recognize sometimes good ideas are ignored. Okay, I'm just going to warn you right now. My hope for you, this simple practice will help you be heard more often. That's what I want for you. That's the reason I wrote this training. So the conclusion is very simple. This will not work until you do the work. It's going to take practice. And I want you, one thing you'll notice I didn't give too many examples. I always go back and forth on this because examples can be helpful. But here's let's say for the sake of example, my tagline, someone says, Bruce, what do you do? I used to tell people I drive revenue and improve customer retention through personal and professional development trainings with an emphasis on sales skills for professional services business and startups, period. All right. This is not clear, it's not concise, and it's very likely not going to be compelling. So what I had to do is simplify it. So now I just say, I'll make sales simple. And they'll say, how do you do that? I'll say, hey, through personal and professional development trainings with emphasis on sales skills. They'll say, who do you do that for? I usually work with professional service businesses, coaches, speakers, I love consulting firms, helped lawyers before, helped CPAs before, insurance, right? And I worked with some tech startups. Actually, the last one I worked with got acquired, so that's always a win, right? We did something right. What happens when you're clear and concise and compelling is people will start to ask you questions. And that's where we have successfully created compelling communication. All right. If you have questions, just leave them in the comments. Again, my name is Bruce. I make sales simple.